So I've just started looking at George Michael's songs. I'm pretty sure I listened to his songs about 3, 4 years ago, and I don't know. I didn't give him an angel name because I haven't looked at his songs for 3, 4 years, maybe longer, maybe five. And I don't know. I listened to some of his songs, and I don't know. There's a lot of depressing ones, and I can't remember what I said 5 years ago. But going through them now, I think he does have an angel name. I think that some of his songs are really, really good. I don't think I've listened to a lot. All the ones that I've posted on Facebook now, I don't really think I've heard them before. And I think he has made a quite a strong connection with me. I think there's also a sort of confusion. I know there's one where it's talking about the father or something, but he had like a female singing voice on it, so it was almost like he maybe was connecting to God through it, but also thought that God was a male. And I know back in the past, everyone thought God was a male. So I don't know. I know he was supposed to be gay, but I feel like there was some spiritual confusion as to why he went down that path. And I'm sure it was real, but technically, women, men, they're the same thing. It's just depending on what body you have. Yeah, I think Angel of um, Endings or New Beginnings is definitely his title. I feel like some songs focus more on ending or his name as ending and saying this kind of needs to end and you need to stop believing in me or whatever. And then there's some that are more about get the boogie back on or something. And just well, I can't remember what that was. I don't really listen to his songs, but if you listen to his songs, I feel like there's lots of different messages that all title within endings or within an ending or the beginning or new beginning. Yeah, I feel like he's got a body somewhere. I don't know who. Might be with a gay couple. I don't know where he is, but I feel like he has. Um, he's alive on Earth. Only his soul hasn't quite woken up yet. I feel like when a baby's born, um, that they're awake and they're alive and everything, but their soul and their memory and their character doesn't start shining through until they get to like 3, maybe a little bit later, but I around that age. When I'm looking at me when I'm a kid, when I'm 1 and 2, I can't see myself there. I look like I'm there, but I also look like I'm asleep. So it's weird when I try and look at souls under the age of 3. But when I see at the age of 3, it's like, oh, I can definitely see myself in there now. And so it's a weird how the spiritual stuff works, but that's my guess. And anyway, there's something else that I needed to talk about, which is that yesterday when I was in the spa, I was kind of thinking that there's a whole list of like mental conditions that I have, and I just want to go through them. So I feel like I have musical bipolar, which is where your mood changes according to what song you've listened to. So you can listen to one song, feel really happy and be really positive and write a really positive message. And then you can just listen to another song and then just get filled with lots of negative memories or negative vibes or negative energies and then just start feeling really low and depressed. So it's kind of like having bipolar because your mood just massively changes, but it's also based on circumstantial, as in like what you've just listened to and the songs that you've just, I feel like, and often actually when I talk about angels, I actually start getting into the different moods even before I start talking about them. It's almost like my spirit can recognize that I'm going to be talking about that angel soon, hence start feeling the vibes or energy of that particular what they represent character. But yeah, I would call it musical bipolar. I know doctors love to put names to things that I don't actually think exist because I feel like a lot of it's in the mind and you create it. But these are just things that I'm noticing in myself. And then I think there's lazy titus, which is where you just get really lazy and don't want to do anything and just can't be bothered. And yeah, I want to actually give it a name because I can, which is just where you just get really lazy and don't want to do anything and feel just like you don't have any energy or like tidying up the house is something that you do if you're impressing someone for me. But if it's just tidying up my house for myself, I find it really hard and I can just get really lazy when it comes to that. Or like drying my hair and straightening it, and it takes 15 minutes to dry your hair with a hairbrush, maybe even 20 minutes. And I just get so lazy that I can't. So I'm going to name it something, which is lazy titus. And conspiratitis. This is where you think people are doing conspiracies. things against you, when you have conspiracies that people are conspiring against you to cause you harm. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is happening every single day. I also imagine myself like being on Big Brother and listing this, and everyone thinking that I'm mad or crazy for saying all these things, when really I'm actually just bringing up things that I think actually exist. Not that it's an actual mental condition, but rather it's more of a state of mind of how you put yourself in. But realistic paranoia, which is paranoia, is where you think people are doing things behind your back and they're not. But realistic paranoia is where people are actually doing things about you behind your back, and you try and tell yourself that they're not, oh, it's just my imagination, it's not actually happening. But really, it is actually happening, and you're just trying to keep yourself sane by telling yourself it's not happening. But at the end of the day, it is actually happening. So I've got realistic paranoia, dyslexia, which is a reading and writing disorder, also general knowledge, like bad at remembering general knowledge and like who's prime minister, or you just forget things. I would say I have dyslexiitis as well, which is where you do things backwards or in a funny order or in a different order. Um, um, and I have schizoamnesia. I would say I don't know if anyone's been diagnosed with schizoamnesia, but I think they do, because sometimes I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I do remember, or even in the morning or whatever, but I can remember things that happened like 40, 50 years ago, or I can remember specific details of things that I've done a long time ago, and yet my general amnesia, my general memory is often blanked out and stuff. So schizoamnesia was what I'm calling that. I have a very powerful God complex, which is where something inside of you, God complex for me, is where there's something inside of you doing things kind of against your will or knowledge. And so you think you're doing it for one intention, but something else inside of you is doing it for a different intention, and you don't realize. But later it can cause you great harm or great grief. But generally it's done for the greater good of the planet or the timeline, but it might not be done actually in your best interest, but you don't know really because you're not really conscious of it. It's not you that's doing it. It's like something inside of you that's doing something for the greater good. I think I have a messiah complex, which is where you can't decide really like how you want to be, or what type of person you want to be, or what characters, or how you want other people to see you, or how you want to be around others. And you're kind of just conflict, as in so many options, too many things, and then you just end up probably being shy or not saying that much, because you're confused as to what to do or how to approach things. Too many options. Humanophobic, which is where you have a phobia of humans and living around them. I definitely feel like that now, because I don't know who to trust, and there's a huge amount of paranoia and stuff. Sexist, yes, I think I'm sexist, because I think women are better than men. And then I have quite a weird sleep disorder. I think that is most of them. I don't know if there's any other ones. I think there was actually one that phobia of taxis, but I don't know if that's just more of a normal thing. But anyway,